Critical minerals and metals such as copper and cobalt are essential for the energy transition. Off the back of this, mining needs to be done fast and sustainably. Eurasian Resources Group is a global metals and mining company operating across 16 countries and is a growing supplier of critical raw materials that are enabling the global energy transition. I sat down at the COP28 talks here in Dubai to talk to the head of communications at Eurasian Resources Group for Africa, the Middle East and new markets, Alexandra Schneider. So we are here at COP28. It's a great day. What's the main reason for you being here and what sort of conversation are you looking to be a part of?
So as you may know, we are a mining company, and what most people don't equate with the green energy transition is mining. Mining has a bad reputation. However, the fact is that without mining, we cannot reach net zero. And we need to, in fact, mine more than we ever have before. And we need to do it sustainably, and we need to do it at pace. And we need to make it happen. And it's not easy, and we need to collaborate.
Very much looking forward to hear exactly what you're doing in order to move to this energy transition. Let's go and head up to our studio. So Alexandra Schneider, what a great pleasure it is to have you here in our studio at COP28.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura.
Well, ERG is one of the world's leading producers of cobalt and also a large producer of copper as well. And over in Kazakhstan, you represent over 1/3 of the metals and mining industry. So tell us a little bit more about the company and what your sort of main focus markets are.
Absolutely. So ERG, as you said, is 1/3 of the mining industry in Kazakhstan. We also provide we're a big energy producer in the Central Asian region, and we have logistics as well, integrated exploration, mining, processing facilities all around the world. We operate in 16 countries, have more than 80,000 people working for us around the globe. And our mission really is to supply the world with the critical raw materials it needs to enable the green energy transition, but to do it sustainably and to do it at pace.
Renewable technologies are going to need a huge amount of materials, of course. So what's the image problem that we've got here when it comes to mining, and what sort of word do you want to put out there about this industry?
I think legacy has tainted the image of mining. These days, I mean, you would never equate mining with the green energy transition or with sustainability, or I sometimes call it the unlikely green hero, because without mining, the green energy transition cannot happen. And it's not just that we have to continue mining, we actually have to mine more than ever before. Our CEO calls it the biggest purchase order in the history of mining. And we need to be prepared for this. If you have a look at the amount of time it takes from discovering an ore body or a potential mine to building the mine and becoming operational, that's a 10-year process. So we don't have that time to lose or waste. We have to do it quickly, we have to do it sustainably, and we have to ensure that all ESG regulations are followed. The critical minerals that we need are not going to be found in G7 countries or your traditional mining jurisdictions, where still most of the investment is flowing into. You are going to need to go to what we call frontier countries. These are unexplored, underexplored regions, very often complex jurisdictions, perhaps remote areas. And obviously this comes with a little bit of a higher risk profile. But we need to go there because you're not going to find the grades that you need for the green energy transition, and you're not going to find the volumes. The challenge is that we need to do this fast, and we need to do it sustainably. Now, that is where multi-stakeholder collaborations come in, because it is possible. I'll give you an example. of where we have managed. For instance, our Metalkol Rhone tailings reclamation project that we have in the DRC is clearing out old tailings from previous mining operators and refining those to produce copper cathodes and cobalt hydroxide. And while we are doing that, because now we have the technologies that were not available before, we are actually cleaning out the river basin. We are removing the tailings, and then once we've processed them, they're going to a secure tailings storage facility, which is regularly monitored, which is the opposite of what mining used to do. So previous mining operators, tailings got dumped in a river. We don't operate this way anymore.
Going back to the partnerships that we were speaking about just a while ago, the Global Battery Alliance, tell us more about that alliance in itself. And also, you piloted as well a battery passport just this year.
Absolutely.
So give us some more detail on that.
Absolutely. So since 2017, the Global Battery Alliance has brought together, it's a multi-stakeholder consortium, and I believe at the moment it's the biggest of its kind. So we have more than 150 members. Across the battery value chain. So from the mine to the electric vehicle, the entire value chain it's about being transparent. It is about understand and quantify what makes a sustainable battery. And with that framework in place, we piloted the battery passport at WEF, World Economic Forum in Davos this year, which is essentially a digital twin of your actual battery. So using technology such as resource, it's a blockchain chain technology that we're using across the cobalt value chain. So with other partners, which are CMARC, Tesla, etc., that you bring transparency into the value chain and you can track your cobalt from the mine all the way to the electric vehicle. And that information would then feed into the battery passport. And it's basically a QR code that you would scan, and it will tell you everything about where it was produced, where the materials came from, what sort of sustainability rating your also the performance of your battery. And it is a concept that has now been verified. So battery passport is likely to become compulsory by 2026 for electric vehicles, and I think a lot of Western countries will follow suit.
So going back to your ESGs just for a moment, what are the core values of those, and are they implemented across the board in all of the markets that you serve? And how do you make sure that there's complete transparency? And maybe you can tell us more about the communities as well, the impact on the communities around where you operate.
If we take Metalkol, for example, we developed a clean cobalt and copper framework, which is independently audited by PwC every year. And so we go beyond the OECD guidance framework, and we built our own framework on top of that. We are very passionate about serving our communities, and we want to set up our communities to be self-sufficient when we reach end of the life of mine, when we reach the end of our time. Apart from rehabilitating the area, as we do with mine closures, we would like to see that the communities that have grown around the mine and developing a economy around that those communities will continue to thrive long after we go. So if we are doing a sustainable agriculture project, it's not just about subsistence farming. We bring in agronomists who will provide skills transfer and methods to ensure that the farmers get a better yield, better farming practices, they are upskilled, and also are able to sell their produce at market. So a lot of the projects that we do are geared towards stimulating the socioeconomic environment around our communities.
So let's talk a little bit about the technology within the mining industry at the moment. What type of innovation is being put out there, what you're doing as well, and how the industry's evolved and where you think it's going when it comes to technology, of course.
So technology in mining is not completely new, but it does open up new avenues, not just in mining or exploring more responsibly with a lower carbon footprint, but it also opens up new opportunities for a new kind of miner. With the increased use of technology and with ESG, it's actually an opportunity because there are areas in mining that absolutely appeal to our younger generations who need a purpose, who are looking for a purpose, who don't necessarily want to live on a mine. You can remotely work on the technologies, or if you are into the environment, you get involved in environmental initiatives or community initiatives. So these aspects of mining speak directly to what is important to millennials. And I think that message hasn't quite come across yet. For instance, we have now a TRSS, we call him the Nomad, because it will be trialled in Saudi Arabia, where we've just acquired a number of licenses and we'll be engaging in early stage exploration. And the Nomad can sample faster than multiple reconnaissance crews. He has no carbon footprint because he's electrically operated. The disruption to the environment is very low. Carbon emissions are low, and when the Nomad goes back to the base station, the samples are immediately analysed. And all of this is remotely controlled. And that means we don't need people in the heat sampling, and our turnaround time is exponentially increased. And this is what is a really good example of technology enabling the pace at which we need to find these minerals, as well as doing the exploration exercises in a very sustainable manner with minimal harm to the environment, to people. And so I believe from this point of view, there are many opportunities for young people to get involved. These are exciting technologies and also exciting areas of mining that you can get involved in.
Very impressed to hear what you're doing within this sector specifically, and we wish you nothing but the best going forward, and thank you so much for being with us here today at COP 28 Dubai.
Thank you.